Welcome to Isabela, the largest island of the Galápagos. In this quick video, I'll show you what to expect when visiting the island. I'll show you the animals we've spotted and I'll tell you the snippets of history I have learned along the way. Isabela Island is made out of 6 volcanoes. Hotels and accommodation on the island is actually affordable. It is the excursions that are really expensive. Well worth it though if you are a nature lover. We arrived on Isabela Island by the ferry coming from the island of Santa Cruz. The ferries, by the way, they do not need to be booked long ahead. You can just book them on the spot. On the main square, of course, you'll see Charles Darwin. There is even a volcano named after him on the island. Darwin did visit Isabela. Although at the time the island would have been called Albemarle Island. Not Isabela quite yet. It was named after the Duke of Albemarle. A lot of the Galapagos Islands had names that sounded quite British because they were named by the pirates that used to use them. It was renamed Isabela after the Queen of Spain. The English pirates also called the Galápagos the Enchanted Islands. Galápagos is actually the Spanish name of those big tortoises. We'll see a few in this video. Now, this is Puerto Villamil, that is the main town on the island. And the only town we visited, to be honest. It is named after a former governor of the Galapagos Islands. Ooh, let's follow those tracks. What animal could that be? With the paws, but with a line in the middle. Could it be a tail? Oh, yes it is. Iguanas are absolutely everywhere on the island. They are marine iguanas. They can swim to go and feed themselves in the sea. That's one of the reasons why Charles Darwin was so impressed with the Galapagos Islands. Because here life has evolved in isolation. And you could observe the concept of evolution. We'll see the marine iguanas swimming in a moment, but for now let me show you this lovely little cemetery. So this is on the way to Muro de las Lágrimas. We hiked all the way down there, a long walk, where you'd have to be very careful with the sun, of course. It is particularly strong in Galápagos. And of course, you might want to make sure you carry enough water with you, because there's nowhere to buy some. Now, about the iguanas, of course they're quite similar to the ones you'll see on the continent, in Latin America. But you'd have to remember that those islands are volcanic islands. A few centuries or thousands of years ago, there was absolutely nothing here, just volcanic rock. So when the first iguanas arrived, maybe floating down on a piece of wood or whatever it might be, they had no vegetation to eat. They've had to adapt. They started to swim to eat seaweed. A very nutritious plant, but the problem with seaweed is that it's very salty. So they also developed a system to spit the salty water out. Oh, tortoise! There is a wet spot where you should see them on your way down to Muro de las Lágrimas. They are wild, do not feed them, you'll see signs everywhere. Back in the day, the pirates used to eat them. They are of course protected today. Now, we've decided to walk, not to rent a bicycle, because of tiny little spiky things that you see on the floor, or incrustated into your shoes. It's part of a plant, but it could definitely give you a puncture. I don't want a flat tire up there. Now, here we are. At the Muro de las Lágrimas, the Wall of Tears. This was a penal colony. Between 90 and 300 prisoners were locked up here. sentenced to hard labor in the sun, being forced to build this wall for absolutely no reason, just for punishment. The wall was built between 1940 and 1959, and the conditions in which those prisoners were treated were so bad that many people died. In the 1950s, there were some rebellions. Some of the guards were killed. It is said that the place is haunted. Some claim that you can still hear the cries of the people badly treated here. Anyway, back to see the tortoise on our way back. It is a very long walk, by the way. You probably don't want to do it like us in the middle of the day. I would recommend going later in the afternoon when the sun starts to go down a bit. The site of the prison, by the way, used to be a US military base. Through the Second World War, although the country of Ecuador was neutral, the US wanted to keep control of the Pacific, so they agreed to have a base here. Anyway, if you need a little swim to refresh on your way back, this spot is known as El Estero. It is a very peaceful spot in the mangrove on coastal wetland. A little downside, though. Thanks to our little friends, the sea lions. So cute. The spot is full of tabanos. It is a type of horse flies. They usually gather on the sea lions as they sleep. I think they eat the rotting algae particles on their skin. But they also like human legs. At least they did like mine. They do bite, and it's quite horrible. You are only a target for a few minutes, though. It's only when your skin is wet, coming out of the water. Oh, they're disturbing you too, I can see. Yeah, they're very annoying. Luckily for the sea lions, you've got those little lava lizards that climb on their skin to eat the tabanos. Here are a lot of iguanas on the black rocks, enjoying the view. Now, back in Puerto Villamil to see the flamingos. It's right in the town center and it's free to access. Time for a very late lunch, $6. Well, $6 for mine, this was my mate's, the pulp was about 10. In all the Galápagos, for lunchtime at least, you can get the menu del dia. For $6 you'd have a full meal, including a drink, a soft drink. You usually find those restaurants by the Mercado Municipal. Now I spotted some blue boobies! Those were right by the rocks by the docking area, where you arrive with the ferries. Now, when I got back to my towel, I had a bit of a surprise. There was a little friend that had stolen my spot. they'd been crawling right on my t-shirt. If that happens, you want to move. Do not touch them. Needless to say that my t-shirt had to go straight into the wash. Because the sea lions, once they've been drying for a while, they don't smell very good. Although you're not meant to complain about their smell, because it is said that the sea lions can curse you. Oh, so cute, Mummy's feeding the babies. Now this is the main snorkeling spot, La Concha de Perla. It is just minutes away from the town center. And we have a friend climbing upstairs. In terms of accommodations on the island, it's not too expensive. We paid $120 for 4 nights. For a full apartment with kitchens and everything. On the docking pontoon, you might have to share the space with quite a few sea lions. Now, time for an excursion. The excursions in the Galápagos in general are very expensive. There are a few different ones on the island of Isabela, but the most popular one is this one. It's called Tunneles. Because you go and see some lava rocks shaped in tunnels. See, the rock looks all white at the top? It's not really rock, it's just the bird poo. Some blue boobies and others must have taken a poo up there. Now, for the excursion, it is about 5 hours of boating and snorkeling. We paid $110. And that is the best price we could get by negotiating on the spot. To give you an idea, even in the Maldives, the year before, I could get a similar excursion for $35. But it is worth it. We spotted a lot of animals. No penguins, though. I think you'd have to be very lucky to see the penguins. But some nice birds and sea turtles, and of course some blue boobies as well. You go on a boat with a group of maybe 12 people and an English-speaking guide. Now, the blue boobies. The big question is, why are their feet blue? It is actually because of a pigment in some of the fish they eat. They don't eliminate that pigment and it gets concentrated in their feet. If you looked at their babies that have not eaten much yet, their feet are actually a bit grey. They are not the only type of boobies around. You also have red feet boobies, as well as Nazca boobies. Nazcas were originally called masca, because it looks like they're wearing some kind of a mask around their eyes, like raccoons really. For the blue boobies, having very blue feet would be an advantage in courting. You can brag in front of the ladies. Oh, look at how blue my feet are. I'm very well nourished indeed. Anyway, time for snorkeling now. Uh-oh. Sharks. And back in town now. Some stranger gave us a coconut from up there. Now, let me show you the tortoise breeding center. So these are not free, they are in the center to help them breed. It is $10 to enter the breeding center. Now, amongst the other things that you can do on Isabela that I haven't done, it is going up the volcano, the Serra Negro volcano. I hear that is a nice hike or excursion as well. I hope you enjoyed that little video on Isabela Island, the island shaped as a seahorse. If you are planning a trip and you have any questions, do pop them down the comment section. And if you happen to be a local and you have any tips to add for future travelers, make sure you pop them down the comments as well. And if you have made it that far into the video, you might want to consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Bye.